Hey everybody, my name is BlakJak, and welcome back to Death Stranding. Last time we took on Clifford Unger for the second time, and this time we're going to start off with Chapter 8, Heartman.
Lou, how's little Lou doing?
No response.
Well, look at that. The child's taking a shine to me. You two were out cold, so I had you brought here. You were right. Whatever you did back there returned us to our own world. I put your cargo and gear in your private box. You slept for a whole day, you know. Slept like the dead. I'm already back in Capital Knot. Fragile's beach has been coming in handy. Sam, I owe you an apology. Lou was the name you were going to give your own baby if he'd had made it. I should have pieced it together sooner.
Don't know what you're talking about.
I found some records from 10 years ago. A death, sudden, in the middle of a town. Young woman in the prime of her life. Nobody knew until it was too late. A void out. Her husband, who was a member of Bridges, had dooms. He tried, but he couldn't get to her in time. The whole town was wiped off the map, leaving nothing but a big crater and him. Because he was a repatriate. People wanted answers. Did the man hide his wife's body on purpose? The only survivor was the only suspect. He was easy to blame, and people did. And pretty soon, they were blaming Bridges too. The man felt responsible, so he left. And his wife, who died, her name was Lucy. She'd been pregnant, poor woman. They were going to name their son Lou.
Didn't happen.
But it did. President Strand told me. She talked about you all the time. He didn't have to cut all ties and walk away, she said.
You wanna shut the fuck up?
Calm down, Sam. Take a seat. I told you before about my body. 70% harvested from cadavers. Do you want to know the real reason why? Because the story you've heard is one I made up. The truth is, I'm Frankenstein's monster. Artificial, grown from pluripotent stem cells. And when that vital spark didn't manifest in all my organs, they replaced the defective ones with those of the dead. I never had a birthday. I'm a soulless meat puppet. No ka, a dead man. People born the traditional way have beaches. You have one. BB too. But I have no such connections. No mother. No afterlife. No beach. You see now why I'm so obsessed with it all? Why I joined Bridges? The battlefield. Now that was an awful beach. But strangely, I didn't hate it. Because I knew you were coming for me. I've never felt that before. Connected to someone, anyone. You didn't have to cut all ties and walk away. The president was right about that much.
Wasn't anything to walk away from. It's not like I was ever welcome there.
come on. Even I was welcome. Oh, that. You were holding it. It's an old dog tag, US issue. Wasn't easy prying it out of your hand. Clifford Unger, as you can see. I looked him up in our database. Found a match. He was US Army Special Forces. Fought in Kosovo, Iraq, Afghanistan.
That's him.
Well, that's all I've managed to dig up so far. You must be caked in chiral matter from the battlefield. Time for a shower, I'd say. Oh, I won't be joining you this time. The Die-Hardman issue is no longer a concern. I've seen to it that our conversations won't be recorded.
Seems like our man Sam has a tragic backstory. Interesting. Well, I guess before we can really get started with this chapter, by the way, I'm splitting this up into 2 parts. Why not?
Sam, do you copy? As you might have suspected, time here stopped while you two were on that battlefield. If my thinking is correct, the dimension to which you traveled is a kind of beach. To explain a little, our bodies, our ha, all occupy the same world, but our souls, our ka, have beaches all their own. These beaches are given form inside our brains by our beliefs, religion, philosophy, and so forth. As a result, a beach can be anything, and those anythings form a multiverse. However, if many people die at once, their beaches can become entangled, creating a strand field. This phenomenon is exacerbated in wartime by omnipresent feelings of resentment and despair. Beaches are more easily and frequently entangled. On such a beach, exits vanish and experiences cycle endlessly. Picture it like a record player. The needle skips, playing the same phrase again and again. They're fighting a battle that has no beginning or end. Round and round it goes. Now, the battlefield you visited was in Eastern Europe in World War II. Which is strange, given that the man you encountered, Clifford Unger, played no part in that conflict. I can't explain it, but if you can connect me to the chiral network, who knows what we might discover.
Still there, Sam? If so, I have a request. When you're ready, head upstairs to the delivery terminal.
So, we're going to be splitting up episode 8, Heartman, into 2 episodes. I don't remember how long the second one is. It's probably considerably longer. This chapter isn't that long. Also, I'm going to be letting these emails up for about 5 seconds each. So if you guys want to actually read them, pause the screen and read them. Which is why I show you these. Anyway, back to what I was saying. The actual chapter itself isn't that long. Mission wise, it's just that remember that last problem I had with chapter 6 and how I mentioned this chapter has it too about the snow. Well, we're still in the mountains and we're still going to be dealing with a lot of snow, but this time we have the BB. So this time we can actually see the beach things and we can deal with them without having to throw grenades randomly onto the floor and guess that that's where they are. That being said, we're still traveling through snow. It's still kind of a pain in the ass. And honestly, these missions are so dumb in the sense that, like, we're near the end of the game. We've almost reached the West Coast. And to me, it feels like this game was just prolonging the rest of the game. Oh, what's up to BB? Hey, BB, you all good? only seen this one. Oh, this one's more appropriate though than the other one, or rather than before, because of the whole like imprinting on Dead Man. Yeah, this little fucking traitor over here doesn't love me no more. I have to teach it. Gotta teach it some good ass dad lessons. 'Cause that's what Sam is. The true dad. The true hero. He is this year's Kratos. Boy. But yeah, I know I'm spending a lot of time in here. I don't know. I just kind of feel like spending some time in here. I feel like I don't have enough grenades. And in my own file, I also played it a little bit since then. Oh, okay. Hold on.
Stabilizers. They help you stay upright if you stumble. When you attempt to regain your balance, they automatically engage their attitude control system to provide assistance. And if that isn't enough to stop you falling over, they'll reduce the impact for you and your cargo.
Yeah, stabilizers are pretty neat, but my only issue with them is they're fucking huge. So if you're gonna be doing a stabilizer, you can't have anything else on. That being said, I wanted more grenades. Now, if I was smart, I would have rotated these grenade pouches. I didn't know that you could rotate them until later. So I could actually have 7 grenades instead of 6 grenades extra, which would come in handy, I guess. Also, I want to put on the windmill. I feel like that's a lot more symbolic than the... What is it? What was not the psychic? What was it? The spiritualist. Other than like the spiritualist little brand thing. Anyway, we got new models here. The alphas, the betas, the alpha lions, the alpha dolphin, the beta dolphin, some gazers, Ungers, World War I, World War II. Some odd thing. Oh, there's a little mech, so that's cute. I haven't seen that one before. That's pretty neat. Little mech robots in the background. That's adorable. But yeah, so as you progress throughout the game, the more creatures you find, the more things you fight, the more little things you'll be getting, like little action figures. But yeah, I know I've been spending a lot of time here in the private room. I don't know, you spend a lot of time in the private rooms, really. Anyway, let's see what old Clifford Unger has been up to.
Can I help you? Holy shit. John, is that you?
What are you doing here?
My wife's checked in. They don't want to repeat of last year.
I'm so sorry. I didn't know you were there.
New character has been introduced. John. Dun dun dun. It was me the whole time. I'm just kidding. Oh, that'd be really funny. Well, anyway, yeah, let's grab our stuff out of the terminal as well as pick our new mission.
The west side of that region is covered by a massive tar belt. Beyond it is Edgenut City, the last bastion of civilization you'll find that far out. It's your final destination. Once you use the qubit to connect it, the chiral network will span the entire continent. The rebirth of America is so close. And remember, that's where Amelie is being held captive. We need you to bring her home safely. But before you cross the tar belt, there's one more knot we need you to tie. Heartman will help you get it done.
Sam, I'd like for you to bring me a few things. First, the dog tags you took from that soldier. Tuck them away in a pocket so you don't misplace them. Second, Mama's corpse. Her body shows no signs of necrosis, and I, for one, would like very much to know the reason why. Closer study may yield information that could prove instrumental in helping us to overcome the Death Stranding. Suffice it to say,
1 minute, my
I don't have much time. See to your preparations. I'll be waiting. You'll find an official order on the terminal.
Yeah, so like I was mentioning earlier, this mission, or rather this chapter, kind of feels like, oh yeah, we're not going to be doing the recovery of the winter clothes because we're going to be dealing with a lot of snow. I didn't feel like doing an extra thing of snow, so we're not going to be doing that right now. It's probably not even that big a deal. Anyway, since we're dealing with the snow, it already prolongs things just because of how slow you're moving in the snow. But this area in particular drags things out way longer than it needs to be. We are literally near the end of the game. This probably could have been just tagged along near the end of the last chapter. Probably. But since I feel like this game has been dedicating chapters to other characters, it would have been like they're just shafting Heartman, because Heartman actually has an interesting character too. But like even Deadman, they told us his backstory in the beginning of this chapter, you know what I'm saying? So it's a little weird that that they did that, you know. Personally, this chapter just takes longer than it should.
All right, Sam. Take care of her. And don't worry, she won't go necro. Millingan's special. Be funny if these Ha of ours ended up being the key to saving us all.
Alright, time to head out to Heartman's laboratory while carrying Mama's corpse. It seems like Mama has been a super important character throughout, so I can totally see why she has her own chapter. I can see Deadman being a chapter, but like Heartman being a full-on chapter, I don't know. Albeit he does play somewhat of an important role. I don't know if I would say Heartman really needed an entire chapter to himself. He has an interesting backstory, which we're going to be seeing in this episode. This whole episode's probably going to be nothing but cutscenes, honestly. This is probably going to be like one of the only things I do, except for some other mission.
Don't mind me.
Like I mentioned already, this chapter is not that long. Mission-wise, it's about 4 or 5 missions long, really. Which isn't too long, but remember we're running through snow, which is probably why it's not so long. That's kind of why I feel like this game around here starts to feel like padding, I guess. It just kind of takes forever to do this one part of the game. And it's not like Fragile, where Fragile's chapter, yes, was ridiculously long. There was just so much to do in that chapter that it was okay to be long, you know what I mean? Like, you were exploring so much vast land, and every part of the land that you made it to was different and interesting. Some of them had different hazards in it, you know what I mean? But here it's like all snow, and the occasional blizzard will happen, and that's all well and good, but like, the snow just makes things so unbearable. It's just, I don't know. Not as fun, I guess. I mean, you're climbing up mountains, so you're going to be carrying a lot of ladders and ropes, and a lot of your resources will be going into that, or hell, even zip lines will be going here a lot. You know what I mean? Like, will be used a lot here. It's just, I don't know. It's not that I don't like the snowy mountains, because I think it was an interesting idea. But I don't think having one snowy area of the chapter and then right after another snowy area part of the chapter is really necessary. I feel like they could have just put the whole Deadman chapter in with this part and then just called it one giant chapter. You know? Called it that. Like, you probably could have had Deadman at Heartman's lab, and then together they could have figured out the issues that were plaguing Mama. And then, like, the supercell could have happened there at Heartman's lab. and then that would have been interesting. And then boom, chapter 7, and then boom, we're at the end. I don't know. That's just how I feel. I'm no game designer though. I'm no storyteller, so you know, I guess my criticism here isn't as poignant to others, but to me it just feels like it was padding an already long, arduous game. Not that arduous, I guess arduous is too rough for a word. It's not like this game is annoying to get through, it's just it's long, you know. And I think that's one of the reasons why I feel like, just to let you guys know about the timing of this recording, today is the Game of the Year awards for 2019. I do not know what is going on because I'm not watching it. I didn't really care about the Game of the Year's awards anyway. Like, it wasn't really anything that big. But if I had to put in my 2 cents into it, this game is nominated, if I'm not mistaken, for a few awards. And I feel like some of those awards may actually be worthy that this game could win, like maybe best sound design or soundtrack or whatever. Like, this game has a pretty solid soundtrack and score. I think they're amazing. I actually have been listening a lot to the the music that plays throughout the game via the music player, like that kind of music, like the Low Roar and Silent Poets and all the other bands. There's actually more than 3 bands. I don't know why I thought there was 3 bands, but there's a lot more artists in this game. I just don't know the names of them off the top of my head. I'd have to look them up. But yeah, it's just like, I feel like that is worthy of it because it has a really good soundtrack. Ludwig Porcell's music score is pretty great as well, so that's pretty decent. I don't know if they're in for any visual awards in terms of like environment design and like character designs or whatever, but I think it at least deserves its nomination in that category if it were to be in there. But then again, there have been a lot of games this year that have really interesting visual designs to them, like unique looking parts of them. So it would be like a stiff competition, I guess, in that department, if that's even a category. I don't even know if it is or not. But in terms of like this game being Game of the Year, I don't think it's a Game of the Year contender. I don't even think it should have been nominated, to be quite honest. Albeit, I do love this game. Do not get me wrong. I love this game. This game is fun for me. I'm not the only one who thinks this game is great and fun and a blast to play. But I will not deny that this game has a lot of flaws in it. This game is not the most accessible game for many people, and that's not even like talking about like accessibility in terms of like people with disabilities. Like, I'm not talking about that kind of accessibility. I mean like just people who are willing to play it. This game is not marketed for the average person, honestly. I don't think it is. It's probably marketed for people like me who like weird ass games and shit. Also, this song played way too late. I do not know why it started now. I'm right at the fucking lab. Like, that's the lab right there. I do not know why Without You started playing right now. Why didn't you start playing when I started climbing the fucking mountain? I don't know. Whatever. This song is good though. I like it. Yeah, in terms of like nominations for Game of the Year, I don't think this is one. I think a Game of the Year contender needs to at least appeal to a vast majority of people. Needs to appeal to almost everyone, and this game does not do that for me. I love this game, but it's definitely not a game for everyone. I don't think it'd be really hard to pretty much. I don't know. It's kind of hard. It's like a hard game to get people to play. You know what I mean? Like I would have a hard time convincing someone who doesn't know much about video games to play it. You know what I'm saying? But I'd be like, oh, if you want an interesting story with interesting views and a decent pace, I would probably give this game a shot. If they're really into that story thing. If they're not so much into gameplay, definitely I'd probably lean into that side. Although I like the gameplay in this game. In other words, this game is complicated, and it's not for everyone. So we made it to the Heartman's lab, and we're going to listen to his giant backstory, because this cutscene is like 20 minutes long. I am not even fucking kidding you. The majority of this video is just cutscene. I'm not going to lie to you. Which is fine, because it's a Kojima game. Also, I don't mind long cutscenes. I don't know. Is it just me? Like, I can understand why some people wouldn't, because like they don't have all day to play a video game, and if like a majority of the game is cutscene, like what's the point of picking up a game? Like I could totally see that being an issue, but I'm fine with it. I don't know. I tend to spend a lot of my day playing video games anyway, so why not watch a fucking movie while playing one too? I don't know. That's just me. But anyway, oh wait, the video doesn't end with the cutscene. It just has a very long fucking cutscene. Never mind. All right, so I'll pretty much see you guys during the interactive part of this cutscene.
Request to join UCA.
So,
registered.
Yeah.
Awaiting Cupid connection.
Oh, what? Heartman is too busy to tell me to whip out my Cupid and go all Jesus fetus on us? All right, Heartman, I see how it is. Rude. Oh, dickhead. Actually, there's actually a pretty good reason why he's not doing that. We'll take a look at that in a second. Those of you who have already played this game will know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, you're going to be a little like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? But yeah, trust me, there's an interesting reason why that's the thing. There's a reason why he's called Heartman. Yeah, it's not because he has a big heart and he loves people too much. No, it's not that at all.
Please proceed into the facility with a cadaver.
With the cadaver? Alright. That's interesting. This is the first... Oh, nope, it's not the first time. Because Mama allowed us to go into her little room. Oh, he has little rocks. Is that a skull? That's pretty cool. Oh, shit, I got distracted by all the cool shit. Walked right by that door. My bad. What the fuck? What's in here? Until resurrection... Oh, sorry, resuscitation, 1 minute 18. So is this what the geysers are supposed to look like? That's pretty cool. Ooh, spooky. They have a cool design. I like the geysers. They're all like drippy and stuff. I'd go to a museum to look at something like that. That'd be pretty cool. Wow, look at all these cases of stuff. I wonder what's in them. Looks like rocks. He must be a geologist. Is he like taking a fucking nap? Well, I guess we could take a look around. Wait, I know this song. Do 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 do. That's cool. What's up with all the mattresses on the ground? Look at that giant fossil on the head. That's pretty cool. Oh, is that his family? That picture kind of looks a little uncanny too. I don't know what it is about it, but... Oh, look at that! Another gazer in the background. That's awesome.
Heartman?
Alright, when are you gonna wake up now? Cardiac arrest. Oh shit, he's dead?
Administering shock. Stand clear.
Well, you certainly caught me with my pants down. Glad you could make it, Sam. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to alarm you, but I am what I am. Ah, please, lay her down there. Still no sign of them.
You know your heart stops beating.
It stops every 21 minutes. I spend 3 minutes on the beach, and then return. 60 deaths and 60 resurrections per day. 60 opportunities to search the beach for my departed family. This is how I live. This is my life. So, while you've traveled to and from the seam an impressive number of times, my beach count is a little higher. 218,549. I see myself in that crater. My wife and my child. It's like looking at the shape of my heart. The doctors called it myocardial cordiformia. Mine is an especially unusual case. I have pictures. Care to see Heartman's heart-shaped heart? No, you really should. It doesn't run in the family. You know, I never came to terms with their loss. In the days that followed, I became obsessed with an idea that the beach is real and they are on it. I would induce cardiac arrest, 3 minutes at a time, and search for them, day after day after day.
Oh, so you could say goodbye?
Quite the opposite. It is said that everyone's beach is different. So what if everyone's afterlife is different too? I find the thought terrifying, spending eternity alone, which is why I decided to find my family and make sure to move on with them.
You mean die with them?
If death would see us reunited, then yes. But the repeated cardiac arrests took their toll on my heart. The muscle gradually deformed. And after a while, they started calling me the beach scientist. Heartman. I'm glad we could have this conversation. Oh. A body that doesn't necrotize. No sign of decomposition. It's as if she were still alive. The perfect mummy. An impeccable corpse.
What's wrong?
Where's the other thing you were supposed to bring? Ah, found it. Behold.
Wait, dead man?
It appears to be an umbilical cord. Human by the looks of it, I think. But this was no ordinary conduit between fetus and placenta. It looks more like a BT's tether. And this was Mama's? Yes. A body that doesn't necrotize and an umbilical cord connected to the beach. These are remarkable discoveries, Sam. Enough to set my sore heart racing.
5 minutes to cardiac arrest.
I apologize if our conversation gets cut short. I must go back to the beach and look for my wife and child. One person, one beach. That's the rule. But I'm the exception. My beach is connected to others, as if it were the beneficiary of a coronary bypass. Maybe this twisted heart of mine made it possible. All I know is that I will find them. Even if my every visit raises new questions, I'll have my answers one day. One day.
3 minutes to cardiac arrest.
The battlefields. The endless wars you found yourself trapped in. Why do World War-era soldiers wander the beach a century after they fell? Normally, the souls of the dead move on. The beach is just a corridor, a place through which they pass on the way to the other side. But if regret, resentment, a fervent desire to remain, if these feelings are powerful enough, they may give rise to an altogether different beach, a collective purgatory for an army of the damned. Clifford Unger. His misery and hatred, combined with your BB acting as some sort of catalyst, have brought these battlefields to our world.
2 minutes to cardiac arrest. Please proceed to a safe location.
It's just a theory.
You think Higgs is pulling the strings? Pulling all their strings?
Ensure you are in a stable position.
I don't know. But evidence does suggest that Higgs brought them here.
1 minute remaining. Please hold on to something secure.
Oh, before I forget, I have a favor to ask.
Activating lab security measures.
Could you just relax until I come back? Time stops on the beach, but not in the scene. Rest assured, it'll only feel like 3 minutes to you. We'll continue this shortly.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, well, I guess we can take some time to look around the place. This cutscene's pretty cool. I like the concept of like him dying every 21 minutes and coming back every 3 minutes and like looking at the clock as it comes down. So you'll get likes from Heartman while he's dead for however the fuck he gives you likes. And you can look around and look at stuff. It's pretty neat. His office is pretty cool. I wonder if you can come back here. I haven't actually made it back to this part. In my file currently, I've beaten the eastern region by getting 5 stars in all the preppers and stuff. And now I'm in central region again. And I did the Elder 5-star, and I did was the Engineer 5-star, I think. And I'm trying to get Port Knot City. I think that's Port Knot City. It's either Port Knot or Lake Knot City, like up to 5 stars. But that thing is taking fucking forever. It's like I'm at like 3,000 likes on that place, and that shit's still at 4 stars. It's ridiculous. But yeah, so you look around. Oh, that's depressing. Damn. All right. Well, I got my daily dose of sadness. This fucking song isn't helping me any. Let's see, what else can we look at? We have 1 minute and 30 seconds, so. And like another 20 minutes. Oh, a little Luden's finger. Oh, I figure. Nendo Droid, Jumbo Ludens. Ludens is cool. I like the Ludens thing. Is that another frame? That's cool. There's some interesting stuff to look at here. Honestly. It was sousaphone. I'm retarded. The record player. If you can actually see stuff, you can actually see some interesting movies. Photo of the beach immediately post Death Stranding. Like, he has some interesting films on the thing. Like, he has some real Ox movies too. Oh, that's his daughter. Why does his daughter look mad weird? Like, not human looking. It's weird. Like, in that photo, it's fine. The other photo, she looks a little off. I don't know why that is. I don't know. Must be just me, I guess. Can I stare at Heartman? Oh, I can stare at this cool-ass hourglass. Did I say Adios Life? Did I read that correctly? Wow. These models are cool. Let's see. Do these ones have models? Ah, neat. Is there like a third one? No? Oh, what's that? Ooh, cryobites. I'm running out of time. I gotta look at everything. I gotta look at it. Shit, 5 seconds. Fuck. Anything else? Ah, cutscene. Boo.
Administering shock. Stand clear.
No luck. Visit 218,550. Oh, sorry. Where were we? I may be used to the 21-minute cycle, but for a first-time face-to-face meeting, there's just too much to cover in one go-around.
Can't be easy living like this.
Yes. And no. Now that I'm acclimated to it, it isn't especially, onerous. defecation, ablution, nutrition. Most of life's basic functions fit rather easily into a 21-minute time slot. Sleep is the tricky one, and intercourse, I suppose, verbal or physical. Not that someone in my position has to worry much about either. Do you read, Sam? Listen to music. Watch films. You know, I keep busy. I have a collection of music, television shows, some very interesting short films, and stories. Everything consumable within a 21-minute window. All from before the Death Stranding, of course. But honestly, the 21 minutes I spend here, all downtime, nothing more. Time spent waiting to go back to the search. My body may be present, but my soul is on the beach. I'm already dead.
I know that feeling. Lost my family in an accident.
Well, I never expected you to open up to me. As it happens, I've read about your circumstances. I lost my family in an accident, too. I was in the ICU having heart surgery, out of town, in the city. When it was clear that I was going to pull through, my wife took my daughter back to the house to collect some things for me. And then they were caught in the void-outs. The city and the hospital were spared the worst, but the shockwave knocked out the power and my life support. I woke up on the beach. The people who died in the two void-outs were there. What happened? What's going on? I saw my wife and my daughter in the procession. Hey! It's me! Where are you going? Wait! Don't leave without me! No! Don't go! Please, don't go! The ICU's backup generator kicked in, and I was brought back to life by the defibrillator. Exactly 21 minutes after my heart had stopped. And that was the last time I saw my family. It's my damned heart's fault that we were torn apart, but it's also the reason I'll see them again someday. It defines me. I am Heartman. Ever since, I've walked the beaches of others. I follow my family's footsteps for a while, and when I get tired, I return here to continue my research. It's funny though, even when my heart stops, the pain lingers. You have any family photographs, Sam? Pity.
5 minutes to cardiac arrest.
You mind telling me what I'm doing here before you go back to the beach?
Oh, of course. There's a prepper-owned station in this area. Our scientists stationed there are researching material from before the Death Stranding.
What kind of material?
The Earth has a long memory. It's trying to tell a story, one that goes back to the very beginning, one that not even the Death Stranding could erase. The scientists are all colleagues of mine from the earlier expedition. I'd like you to bring them onto the chiral network. Amelie proposed we establish our research posts along this belt. Despite a worldwide search, this is the only area known to contain fossils from the late Cretaceous period, when the dinosaurs died out. The assumption being that the last ones lived here, and here alone. You see, hiding in the Earth then are memories of a major mass extinction. Clues that could tell us how to survive our predicament. Certainly, that was Amelie's hope as part of the advanced team when she assigned our backup team here. The past informs the present and aids us in building the future. She was careful to impress that upon us before she went west.
3 minutes to cardiac arrest.
Oh, shut up. I'm putting you on mute. Sometime later, we began to observe unusual activity in the tar belts outside Edgenot City. Vast quantities of tar began surfacing, spreading, consuming many of my colleagues, as well as a chiral way station. The whole incident defied explanation.
You think Higgs is to blame?
I don't know, but we needed that way station. It was essential to expanding the chiral network westward. That's why I'm asking you for your help in building a new one. It won't be much given the handful of equipment we've managed to scrape together. Nothing like the knot cities, that's for sure. But a knot is still a knot. Sam, I want you to use the Cupid to put the scientists on the network, then go to Amelie. Afterwards, we can get back to the important job of researching the deaths.
Don't worry about him, Sam. The air mat floor absorbs the impact. I'll unlock the door for you.
I really like that cutscene, like the cinematography of it, like in it, like the flashback and everything. How the new captain and his sunglasses and stuff.
Sam,
Thought that was pretty cool.
You can grab the order out of the
Apparently, Sam loses all his shit on the outside of his house, out of the outside of the lab during that cutscene for whatever reason.
Our ultimate objective in this region is to build a replacement for a way station that was lost to the tar. The first step is to put a shelter with our scientists on the chiral network. Now, we don't know the first thing about Amelie's status or what Higgs is up to. Now, that's a concern for us as much as you. But we won't know more until we get to Edgenot City. And that means connecting this region first. You should start with the geologist and the paleontologist. The latter's holding something for the Evo-Devo biologist, so I recommend you save her for last. That way, you can finish a delivery and link up the final site in one go. Once all three are on the grid, come back here. Then we can get to work on the replacement for that lost way station.
Yeah, and as you can see, this is why I start to feel like it's a little padding. You know what I mean? Like, I get the story-wise, it makes sense, but gameplay-wise, it just feels padding to
A
me.
geologist of ours has been studying fossils as part of his research into prehistoric extinction events. He's been out there conducting excavations for a while now and has begun to suffer the effects of chiral contamination. No doubt the result of excessive exposure to chiralium during the dig. Until the site is properly decontaminated, his work can't proceed. Nor will his health improve. So we need you to bring him some chiralium scrubbing agents.
Administering shock. Stand clear.
The stratum the team was investigating dates from the end of the Cretaceous period, the time of the infamous mass extinction, which brought the reign of the dinosaurs to a close, leaving small mammals to inherit the Earth. It's the most recent of the Big Five, and one of the largest mass extinctions the world has ever seen. In any event, our team found something truly remarkable. Can you guess what it was? A fossil beach. If that is indeed what it is, then he has made a tremendous discovery. Therefore, Sam, it is essential that you deliver those chiralium scrubbing agents as soon as possible.
Well, alrighty. But we got the thermal pads, which makes it easier to keep warm and not lose stamina during the snow. I'm going to explain that because it doesn't. Die-Hardman doesn't really explain much, but it makes sense. It just keeps your stamina not falling as much while you're in the snowy regions. Can be useful. Can be.
A geologist of ours has been studying fossils as part.
Oh yeah. Okay, so what happened there was I hit the wrong button. And this is what I was telling you guys about the menus. Like, I literally in between this session and the last session, I had played Star Wars Battlefront 2 on the PlayStation 2, and those menus you could just hit circle and continue on with the game. So, or not circle, triangle, whatever button it is. And so I had gotten used to that game, so I pressed the wrong button and it canceled out everything. I had to rewatch the whole thing. It was kind of annoying.
Sam, so Heartman told you all about the lake. How the attack that created it changed his life forever. Not only did he lose his family, he very nearly lost himself. For 21 minutes, he was in a state of cardiopulmonary arrest. Under normal circumstances, he would have died. Therapeutic hypothermia saved his life. But the 21 minutes he spent on the other side had a lasting effect on him. Perhaps due to the shock, his Doom's abilities seem to have increased. And now he takes every opportunity to walk the beach in search of his family.
My apologies, Sam. You came all this way to visit me, and I neglected to give you a proper farewell. Do be careful out there. As I mentioned before, this region is rich in memories of death and extinction. It should come as no surprise that BTs decided to live. Perhaps you recall comments like that. Their designs were all based on eyewitness accounts. Though I suppose they must have struck you as strange, considering the many times you've come face to face with the real McCoy.
Yeah, Heartman, you don't have to really worry about like not giving me a proper farewell. You died and still gave me 20 likes. Like how the fuck that even makes sense? Who knows? But whatever. I don't even know what the hell I was talking about before those annoying cutscenes, other than like me fucking up the menu button. Whatever, doesn't really matter. Anyway, we're gonna be heading over to. I think I clicked the Geologist. I wasn't paying attention. Yeah, but like I was saying before. As you can tell, like I find this to be a little padding, not so much in a storytelling way, because I understand that the way station was destroyed by the tar belt, and getting the materials from all the other scientists in the area will be necessary to create a way station, so that we can cross over to the tar belt and go to the the west coast, and finally finish this game. Like I understand that on a story perspective, but in a gameplay perspective. It's padding. To me, it feels like an old NES game being ridiculously challenging towards the middle of the game just to prolong the game. That's just what it feels like to me. The only difference is instead of giving me hours and hours and hours of a challenge, it's hours of trudging through more snowy mountains that I've pretty much already been there and kind of done that. Like I've had like that kind of feeling towards this part of the chapter. And I don't know, where chapter 3 felt long, it was most certainly not boring. It was just super long. You know, and there's a lot to do in that chapter. This one, it's not long, but it's most certainly less entertaining than dealing with mules and BTs and random situations, dealing with different types of terrain and stuff. This is just like, oh, okay, a lot of snow, and then like the occasional BT will pop up, and then you have to throw a grenade or two. And if you crouch walk, you're slower crouch walking than you are walking through the snow. And albeit the all-terrain skeleton does help mitigate these issues, it's not like a solution to this problem. It's just like, oh, okay, cool, I guess I could do this to help it, but it's not like, you know, a one-time fix, if that makes any sense. Now thinking about it, when editing this, I probably could have fit this part and the next part into one episode and just made like maybe a 3-hour video or something, or like a 2.5-hour video or whatever. But the way I was doing it at a certain point was just like every session could be its own part up until like I get to a chapter that is like until I get to the point where it's like a different chapter, and then like, I can make a judgment call. This is one of those parts where it was just like, okay, well, the first part was the last chapter, and then this part is nothing but, and then like this half is just like the first half of episode 8. Or chapter 8. I don't know how long chapter 8 is typically, or is going to really be, but I can probably just split into 2 parts and it'll be okay. Even if both parts are like an hour long, I feel like an hour long part is not as bad as a 3-hour part, you know what I'm saying? So, it's fine with me that I split this into 2 parts. And honestly, it's the last time throughout the rest of the playthrough that I'm going to be splitting up a chapter into multiple parts. The only exceptions were, what, chapter 3, chapter 4, chapter 8? Those are like the only chapters that I split into multiple parts. Considering this game has 15 parts, not including the prologue. I mean, not including the, not the prologue, I'm sorry. Not including the final chapter. Yeah, it's pretty decent that only 3 of 15 chapters I ended up having to cut into multiple parts. So that's pretty decent. But yeah, what we do now is just bring our materials over to this prepper. Oh, I wanted to mention something though about the premium levels. I don't remember if we got those already. I can't remember. But when you do a premium, you get a legend star on your porter grade. But what a premium mission is it's just the same mission except it's slightly harder. You have like more things to bring, or you have less time, stuff like that. That's all it is. That's all that's different. But you get like more likes for it, so I would definitely do more premiums. And like the challenges aren't even that hard, honestly. Except for the ones that you have to bring like 1,000 shit, and then you have to like make a car and bring it over. Other than that, it's fine. So if you get the premium mission, I would probably do the premium mission. It's well worth it.
Sam Bridges. Oh, thank God for that. I was worried you might not get here in time, but then I've done nothing but worry of late. I've been haunted by those visions you doom sufferers see. That end-of-day stuff? I put the nightmares down to fatigue. The possibility of chiral contamination never even occurred to me. It's just lucky we got it before the suicidal stage. Dying's not an option. My research is nowhere near complete. It's not just my life you're saving here. It's my life's work. I started to wonder if I'd ever see these meds. I guess you really are good at what you do, huh? Thank you.
Yeah, man, whatever. It's all good. Don't worry about it, I guess. Shit. But, yeah, so, like I was mentioning earlier, the missions themselves, like the premium missions themselves, aren't that bad. They're honestly not even that hard. And when you get them, you got an S rank legend, and then it, like, you can actually see it on other people's little usernames and stuff. It's pretty cool. Much like how you can see like their portigrade, above their portigrade is like a little yellow circle that's like glowing and shit. That's their legendary status. And if you have like multiples, it tells you how many you have. I saw a dude with like 130 of them or something yesterday. It was pretty awesome. So yeah, there's that. And with that, he joins the UCA. Maybe we get something neat from it, other than like the joining of the UCA. Possibly, that'd be pretty cool. I don't know. Oh, and delivery time can help you with like your holding your breath for longer too. I got like to level 20 yesterday on the delivery time stat, so that's pretty cool.
Oh, yes. Right then. If you'd do the honors.
Yeah, man, sure, whatever. There is 4 minutes left, 5 minutes left of this video. I'm going to assume I'm not going to do anything important after this. I'm probably just going to cut ahead to Heartman's lab, most likely, or I'm probably going to start the video there. Know that this area is lacking in shelters, lacking in private rooms. So if you're going to want to sit down and sleep, your best bet is to make one around the area. Luckily for me, someone had that same idea and made one way before I even had a chance to even do that. So I just used theirs next to Heartman's place. It was pretty neat.
And just like that, I'm part of the UCA, with access to a treasure trove of historical research materials. Studying this fossil beach should be a good deal easier now. Assuming I can prove once for all that that's what it is. Honestly, though, I'm just excited I can finally share these findings with everyone. Can you believe I found chiral deposits in strata dating back 65.5 million years? Evidence of an ancient death stranding.
Chiral matter has existed on Earth since long before the dawn of man. This stratum is proof of that. Look at this, Sam. Do you see that black fissure there? We believe this is the source of the Chiralium readings. In the distant past, earthquakes caused frictional melting along fault lines, producing layers of what is known as pseudotaculite. We call these layers fossil earthquakes. Extending the principle, our fissure here is what one might term a fossil beach. The presence of Chiralium in this of all strata cannot be a mere coincidence. It strongly suggests that beaches must have appeared during the Cretaceous-Paleogene extinction event. And not just then. The chiral network has recovered data suggesting that similar fossil beaches were discovered in strata corresponding to other extinction events too. That would seem to indicate the Big Five and all other major extinctions were accompanied by the appearance of beaches. In expanding the chiral network, you've helped us glimpse a pattern in these scattered points of data. You've furthered our individual research projects and ensured that it is only a matter of time before we recover all we have lost and solve every mystery that remains. But this is only the beginning. See this through, Sam, and there's no telling what we might learn.
Yeah, man, that's cool or whatever, and that's a nice piece of lore, but I'm tired of shit. Alright, I can't sleep in a private room. There really isn't anything interesting to go to. That's the roboticist. I am not going fucking over there right now. Mount Knot City. And then that is Heartman's lab, so I guess I'm going to be going that way with some beach-related art, I guess. Maybe, probably not, I don't know, man. Well, anyway, back at Heartman's lab. As you can see, someone made a sleepy time place. And I think I'm going to rest up over there. And in the next episode, we're going to be continuing on with Heartman's chapter, taking care of the final 2 areas, and then we're going to head westward onto the direction where the way station used to be. And that's pretty awesome. We got some music. Anyway, I will see you guys next time. Peace out.